Welcome to the Week 9 edition of the Choppin' Birds Weekly NFL Podcast. I am your only host for today, Colin Porkchop, inside the Christian Mingle studio, as well as the Strip Chat studio in studio number 69. Oh yeah. And also brought to you by Prize Picks, as well as betonline.ag. If you have any business inquiries, please contact my boss, Riley Reed. So, I am flying solo, as I said in the intro. Chris is not here today, and he has yet to send me the picks, so maybe by the end of this installment he will give me Zim picks. But however, if my voice sounds a little shot, if my voice sounds a little it's because I went to a concert last night. I went to a Blackville Brides, Motionless in White, Ice Nine Kills, and Atreyu, and it was a fantastic fucking show. So, the Trinity of Terror Tour, if it comes near you, go for it. Go to the show. It's fantastic. But, anywho. But let's go ahead and update you on the standings. So, Chris and I are both tied for first place at... Oh, actually, wait a second. Yeah, Chris and I are both tied for first place at 73 apiece. And Michael is at 64. Low 64. And hopefully this little battle between Chris and I can come to a head. If not, then it will cause some head, if that makes any sense. But since Chris isn't here, I'm not going to be able to get to the Titan Talks, and we're not going to do the Primetime Parlay. So you guys get the run-of-the-mill show from me, but we will have Cowboy Talk, and we will have, obviously, the Week 9 picks. Like I said, hopefully Chris will submit them before the end of this podcast. So, the biggest thing that we can talk about is probably the trades that's been going on. The trade deadline was Tuesday at 4 p.m., and so there's an entire article on NFL.com. Special thanks to Eric Edom for Edom. He's the lead draft writer for the NFL.com. But he has an entire breakdown of all the trades that happened, and he actually has draft grades. So bear with me, this one's probably going to take the fucking longest, so let's go for it. So the biggest one that he has is Christian McCaffrey traded to the San Francisco 49ers for a 2023 second, third, fourth, and a 2024 fifth from Carolina. It's funny, though, because I did see a meme the other day. It was like, all of this just so that Geno Smith can hold the first place spot in that division. Roquan Smith got traded from the Baltimore Ravens, got traded to the Baltimore Ravens from the Chicago Bears for A.J. Klein, a 2023 second, and a 2023 fifth. That one's actually a pretty good trade-off. I think they actually kind of like evened out with those, especially when you do a linebacker for a linebacker. But, I mean, Roquan Smith is definitely more of a bigger name than A.J. Klein, but that is just me. Bradley Chubb traded to the Miami Dolphins and a 2025 fifth-round pick for running back Chase Edmonds, as well as a first-round 2023 and a fourth-round 2024. And that one's actually a pretty good trade, in my opinion. I do think Denver got the better end of the stick, getting a first-round pick, which, if I'm not mistaken, they gave that up for, for Let's Ride, for Russell Wilson. Yeah, it says right here in the article, gotten back into the first round next spring after trading 2 first-rounders for Russell Wilson. So, there you go. You get one, buy 2, get 1 free. Or you sell 2, get 1 free. Chase Claypool to the Chicago Bears for a 2023 second-round pick. I think that's actually a pretty good trade. I do think I do think Pittsburgh did get the better end of the deal, and his article agrees with me. Chase Claypool is one of those guys. I think Tony Romo said something about like Chase Claypool needs to anticipate and be better at his routes because there's a lot of meat left on the bone. Because there was a few times where Kenny Pickett would throw to him and it would land like in his lap or it land on the ground or it would get intercepted because Chase Claypool isn't paying the fuck attention. So there's that. TJ Hawkinson, a tight end as well as a 2023 4th-round pick and a 2024 conditional 4th-round pick to Minnesota from Detroit. Detroit receives a 2nd 2023 and a 3rd 2024 pick for him. That was the biggest shock, in my opinion, besides the Christian McCaffrey trade. TJ Hawkinson is going to a Minnesota team that is 6-1, and they are dominating that division, and they just got that much better. They've been kind of lacking in the tight end department since Kyle Rudolph left, so I think this is actually a really damn good pickup for the Minnesota Vikings. They might actually be able to make a deep playoff run with that tight end. They do lose a very, very important 2023 second-round pick, though, unfortunately. Robert Quinn straight up traded to Philly from Chicago for a 2023 4th-round pick. That's neither here nor there. I do think that Philly did receive the better end of the deal. Calvin Ridley traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 2023 5th-round conditional and a 2024 conditional 2nd-round pick. Okay. Kadarius Toney. Didn't they just draft that motherfucker like last year? He's already gone. He went to Kansas City for a 2023 3rd and a 6th-round pick, but it's a compensatory 3rd-round pick. I guess they wanted him out of the building that bad. I mean, the guy did punch a Cowboys player with his helmet still on, so I don't know how much better his IQ is because of that. But two very good teams trading with one another might actually be beneficial for Kansas City in the long run, because I do actually like Kadarius Toney. I just didn't like it when he punched a fucking Cowboys player with a helmet on his head. It's ridiculous. Nyheim Hines traded to Buffalo for running back Zach Moss and a 2023 conditional 5th-round pick. That was crazy. Jeff Wilson Jr., another running back, traded to Miami from San Francisco for a 5th-round pick next year in 2023's draft. James Robinson, New York Giants, for a 2023 6th-round pick next year. That was kind of like, whatever. Robbie Anderson, who got dismissed the last game that he played for the Carolina Panthers. He got traded to Arizona for a 6th-round and a 7th-round pick. I just don't understand what the hell happened. Even right here it says, at first blush, the cost feels pretty light, but it's 2 picks, and that's honestly one more than I expected the Panthers to receive in return. It wouldn't have stunned me if no team even wanted to make a trade, figuring Carolina could release Anderson after a sideline tirade a few weeks ago. But the Cardinals were desperate, with Marquise Brown out indefinitely and A.J. Brown playing the part of a ghost well in advance of Halloween. A few days after the trade, Anderson played 12 snaps in Arizona with their win over New Orleans and Sunday's loss to Minnesota. He played 7. In Minnesota. Kyler Murray has targeted Anderson a total of 4 times, but the wideout still seeks his first reception. Wow. Deion Jones got traded, as well as a 7th-round Cleveland pick for 2024 to Atlanta for a 2024 6th-round pick. William Jackson III traded to Pittsburgh from the Commanders, as well as a 2025 7th-round pick for a 2025 6th-round pick. Jonathan Hankins, we talked about this. The Cowboys receive him and a 7th-round pick for a 6th-round pick. The 7th-round pick for the Cowboys won't be until 2024, but the Raiders received our 2023 6th-round pick for next year. Jacob Martin to Denver. Now we're starting to get into the names that people are like, who the fuck are those people? Jacob Martin and a 2024 5th-round pick for a 4th-round pick for 2024 to the Jets. Traded from the Jets to the Broncos. Rashard Fenton traded to Kansas City. Traded to Atlanta from Kansas City for a 7th-round pick next year. Dean Marlowe traded to Buffalo for a 7th-round pick for Atlanta next year. So, a lot of crazy trades. People were bitching because my Cowboys didn't really make a splash, but we'll talk about that when I get to the teams. From what I'm seeing right here, I will just jump right into the next segment.
What the fuck happened?
What the fuck happened in that Atlanta-Carolina game? First of all, the winner of the game is winning the division, and they're both, 3-5? What the fuck? Like, seriously? And then, DJ Moore takes his helmet off. If he keeps that helmet on, I think they win the game. And Atlanta chokes yet once again, but Marcus Mariota had a little birthday magic and just went right down the field, threw an interception. Then Carolina came back, kicked the field goal, missed it. So I don't know if their kicker has been let go of yet, but he probably needs to go. So Eddie needs to fly the coop. He needs to go bye-bye. And then Atlanta gets the ball back, and Marcus Mariota just runs down the field for 30 yards, setting up the game-winning field goal. It was a madhouse. It was a fucking madhouse. So what the fuck happened with the Carolina Panthers? You had the game in hand. P.J. Walker threw like a 67-yard bomb to DJ Moore. Atlanta was proving yet again that they are choke artists, and then you just let that happen. You just let that shit go by. It's like, oh my god, that is redonkulous. And then 3-5, you're winning the division. It's just like, oh my god, we're going to have a team with a losing record that's going to be in the playoffs again. Reminds me of a few years ago where they had a 7-9. I think it was the St. Louis Rams made the playoffs one year. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that just shows how bad that division was that year. But my god. So, how about we do a little panic?
Time to spread the word, and the word is panic.
So, the team that I think needs to panic outright, I think since the trade happened, I think it's got to be the Detroit Lions. I know this is a team that I'm kind of riding high on. This is a team that I have a little soft spot for, but Detroit traded their number one asset. That's the best receiving option that Jared Goff, if you say his name real fast, it sounds like you're saying jerk off, had, and you let him go. You let him off the hook. So I think, Detroit now officially is in panic mode, and now they're in the we'll get them next year mode for sure, especially after having a severely low record as of right now. So unfortunately, I think Detroit does need to panic. The team I think that doesn't need to panic.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
I think Denver might be getting hot right at the right time for them to get hot. If they were hot at the beginning of the season and then they kind of like drifted off, which I think that a certain NFC East team is going to do, and they throw snowballs at Santa Claus. But anyway, I personally think that Denver winning that game in London against Jacksonville won that game, but they lost that game. That's my Booger McFarland analysis right there. They won the popularity contest. They just couldn't get the Electoral College. So that's what happened with Jacksonville. Jacksonville had that game, but Denver stole it from them. Just straight up stole it from them like they owed them fucking money. You got to pay for those McChickens somehow, so I guess you go ahead and just rob the motherfuckers. So that being said, the fantasy player I would think y'all need to pick up is P.J. Walker, not running back. Well, I mean, he technically could be a running back. Quarterback for the Carolina Panthers in NFL.com fantasy leagues. He is currently rostered in 0.5%, not even 1%. He's rostered. And he is only starting in 0.1%. But last week, he had almost 29 points. He had 28.85 points last week. And just absolutely, I mean, if he keeps putting up those numbers, I know he was an XFL quarterback. I know he was a, like C-League quarterback. But, I mean, he took Mayfield's job, and I don't think he's going to give it back. I think that he's going to have it for at least the rest of the season, barring an injury or, something redonkulous like that happening. But I think you guys need to go pick him up. P.J. Walker also could take off with his legs So that is definitely something to think about for sure. All right, so we're going to skip right to the Cowboy talk, and I do have a few bullet points that I need to talk about. The bullet points are, okay, first of all, how about the motherfucking Cowboys, y'all? Cowboys, first of all, we received news this week that we are expecting Tyron Smith, one of the better offensive linemen when he doesn't get fucking holding calls every third play. We'll be back in 3 to 4 weeks. That is definitely something that might be getting healthy right at the right time because we have a bye week this week, so therefore we don't have to worry about a loss. And with that, we just get that much better on the offensive line. The offensive line is probably one of our biggest question marks. I'd probably say that. And the defensive line, everything else is solid. Even though a lot of people like to talk shit on our receiving core and, they should have gotten Brandon Cooks or they should have picked up OBJ, which they still can at any moment if they want to, but Jerry's not going to fucking do it. The receiving core is actually pretty good, especially with Michael Gallup healthy. CeeDee Lamb is coming into his own, and just those tight ends, all three of them are fantastic. And we're looking at probably picking up a tight end at one point, but then we're like, oh no, our two young guys, Jake Ferguson especially, is looking really good. He caught a touchdown last week, so good for them. Dak, this is the best Dak Prescott I think I have seen in years. He went down the field, well, with the help of Tony Pollard, who got 3 touchdowns on his legs. They just went down and scored 4 possessions in a row. Boom, 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 boom. Touchdown, 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 touchdown. The first 4 possessions. We had the lead, and then we kind of gave it back. For a second, it looked like we were going to give it back. And with Dak throwing that interception and all that shit. But we took it back, and we ended up scoring 49 points, which is a league high for this season. That is the most points any team has scored so far this season. And of course, it's my motherfucking Cowboys. Tony Pollard, I've been saying this for a hot minute, actually the last 3 years. If we get rid of Ezekiel Elliott, which I think we might, we're in good hands. I do think that we have a good, if not better, chance with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard scored 3 touchdowns, which is the first Cowboys running back since Randall. If you guys remember Randall, I think he's in prison now. But we had him for a little bit right between the Murray and Ezekiel Elliott years. And Randall scored 3 touchdowns in one game. Zeke has yet to score 3 touchdowns in one game, but Pollard looks like an RB1. And if we get rid of Ezekiel Elliott, I won't shed a tear if we get rid of him, because Pollard, I think, is just better. Pollard's younger, he's faster, more versatile and elusive. And Zeke, we put a lot of miles on him. Zeke was the brand new sports car of that year, of 2016, and we have already put at least, especially within the last 2 or 3 years or so, we've put over 100,000 miles on that new fucking sports car. And Zeke no longer looks like a sports car. He looks more like a station wagon from 1987. But and also, that being said, I think the Cowboys are just getting hot at the right time, and I think they are absolutely just destroying anybody that comes our way. The only thing that I'm scared about is us beating ourselves. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about, is us beating ourselves. Other than that, it is totally fine. If we can have consistent play calling and we keep the ball intact, Dak doesn't turn it over, we don't fumble, we don't have ridiculous holding calls and roughing the passer calls, then I up and up. I don't see it being a problem going forward. But God, I feel like I'm just running through everything, just mowing this shit down. Your ass is grass and I'm mowing the lawn. But we are at the Week 9 picks. So if Chris was here, I would ask him who has the best french fries. Leave it down in the comments. Leave it down in the comments. Who has the best french fries? Let me know. But no, the question would be, for Week 9, it would be, who you got? So, we'll start right off the bat. Thursday night football. This has got to be one of the weaker matchups for Thursday night. And that is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Houston Texans. I'm going with the Eagles. Chris is also going with the Eagles. Sunday, the first noon game, according to Yahoo, is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Atlanta Falcons. I got the Chargers. Chris also has the Chargers. Next game, the Miami Dolphins at the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are kind of having a fire sale right now. And the Dolphins are just getting stronger, and I'm also going to go with the Dolphins on this one. Chris actually went for the Falcons. I apologize. Chris picked the Falcons. He picked Mariota, the Pineapple King, to beat Justin Herbert. Carolina Panthers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Is Chase playing? If Chase is playing, I'm picking the Bengals. If not, I'm picking P.J. Walker and the Panthers. But no, I'm picking the Bengals. Chris is also picking the Bengals. The Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. Chris is picking Green Bay. Before the Hawkinson trade, I would have told you to pick Detroit, but since he's not in the building anymore, I'm also going to go with Green Bay, begrudgingly, but I'm going with Green Bay. The Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots. I am going with the Patriots. Chris is going with the Colts. The Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Chris is also going with the Buffalo Bills. Minnesota Vikings at the Washington Commanders. I am going with the Vikings. Chris is also going with the Vikings. Jacksonville Jaguars. The Las Vegas Raiders at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm taking the Jags. Chris is also taking the Jags. The Raiders didn't score one fucking point. That was my backup. What the fuck happened? But that game was just so ridiculous. That Carolina-Atlanta game last week. Had to pick it. First and only 3:05 game. The Seattle Seahawks at the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going with the Seahawks. And Chris is also going with the Seahawks. 3:25 game. The LA Rams at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Could Tom Brady pull this one out? And I don't think he will. So I'm going to pick the Rams. Chris is also picking the Rams. The next game, the Sunday Night Football game, the Tennessee Titans at the Kansas City Chiefs. Picking the Chiefs. Chris is picking his Titans. Let's see if Derrick Henry can run over that Chiefs defense, which I think he can, but I think the Chiefs are going to have a little bit of a better game. And Monday Night Football, the Baltimore Ravens at the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans. I'm not going to pick New Orleans. I'm going to pick the Ravens. Chris is also picking the Ravens. So Chris and I have one. Let's see. I'm counting it down. One game difference. We have 2 games different. And 3 games different. Chris and I have 3 different matchups. I have the Chargers beating the Falcons. He has it the other way around. And I have the... Where was it? Oh, yeah. I have the Patriots over the Colts. He has the opposite. And I have the Chiefs over the Titans. He has the opposite. So I'm going to lock in those picks. I might have missed one. I can't recall right now. But, yeah, there you go, guys. I know it's quicker, and I know it's a little, faster pace when it's just me, but I don't have anybody to, banter with. I don't have anybody to, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. It's just me, myself, and I in here. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you this week. You know the drill. Submit your picks down below. The first person that submits their picks down below, I will give them a reward. I'm not going to say what it is. It could be anything from a, $5, Cash App to a sad hand job. It's your choice. Either I will be sad giving the hand job, or you can be sad while I give the hand job. It's really up to you. But the first person that submits the picks down below in the comments will get whatever the fuck I feel like giving them. But anyway, guys, thank y'all so much once again for dropping by. Hope you guys are going to have a great week, and I hope you guys had a happy Halloween. And always remember my little piglets, Colin Pork Chop, loves y'all the most. Y'all take it easy, guys. and make good choices, especially in the goddamn pick'em. Bye, guys!